Welcome back to Embrace Your Space. I wanted to give you an update on the tomato bed that I planted in this cardboard. Now my plan has evolved somewhat since I started. My main objective when I started was to just not have to deal with weeds while I was growing the tomatoes this year. And then I did some reading and looked into it, and I'm just going to turn this into a raised bed and slowly add different layers of organic matter back into the bed, even as I'm growing the tomatoes this year. So obviously I'm not going to be piling it up with layers of soil and manure and other things, but I can add some small layers in to help start the process. So what I've already done is I started by sprinkling some cut grass from when I've cut the grass, and then I added some dried leaves from some pruning I had done earlier on after there were already leaves on the trees, and then I just threw these little twigs in here. So that will eventually break down. It may take a while, but that's okay. I don't mind that being the base layer of my raised bed. And so I just finished cutting the grass in the backyard, and I'm going to add some of it onto this bed. I normally never collect the grass when I cut it, and hopefully before too long I won't have much grass left to cut because I'm going to convert my lawns into gardens and native beds. But as it were, I still have grass I have to cut now, and I figured this will be a good way to add something back into this bed that I'm going to build up. And I already had added some into the front part, but it had started raining on me the day that I cut the grass before, and so I stopped. So I need to kind of even it out, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to sprinkle it in. You're not supposed to add too thick of a layer because it can prohibit it from drying out properly, and it can start to smell and probably would not be great. So I'm being very careful not to get this against the stems of the tomato plants. I just want to sprinkle it around. It will dry up pretty quick because we are having very hot weather here. And also I have some kind of like sod or soil that I will be putting on top as well, but it's from where I have cut beds in the front yard for my native plants, and I was throwing the pieces of sod into the compost pile, but then I thought, I'm just gonna use that as a small layer on this bed. And what I will do then after I put that on is I will put a whole layer of either brown paper or newspaper to help block out like weed seeds and whatnot. So that is the status of my cardboard tomato bed. I'm really happy with it. I'm happy with how it's turned out. I'm a more fly by the seat of your pants kind of gardener. Sometimes I just jump in and do before I have the entire plan laid out, and I let my creativity take over and just do what I feel. And so when I started, I hadn't intended on keeping like a raised bed here, but then I thought, why not? Why not turn it into a raised bed? I will sometime soon build a little fence around it. I might do a wattle fence because I did one recently and it was so much fun and it's beautiful. So I think that would add to the aesthetic of this garden. So I have to go cut some more grass. I'm out of grass cuttings, and thank you for joining me, and stay tuned and I'll keep you updated how this goes. Got lots of big tomato plants growing and lots of flowers and a lot of tomatoes already setting on the plants, which is wonderful news to any gardener who has planted tomatoes, as you know. So here I go. I'm going to cut more grass. Thanks for joining me. Hit the subscribe button and the notification button so you can get notified when I make these new videos. Thanks.